Hello 10th graders, this is the video part 2 on Honors English 10 in the Modern Classroom. The last video spoke about the Modern Classroom itself. This talks a little bit more about the details of Honors English 10 and some expectations in grading. So what does it look like in our classroom specifically this year? Okay, remember why we're doing it. I'm trying to work some things into the classroom so you are not overwhelmed, so you are not terribly bored, and that you can ask questions and be successful. That's the goal. So on the very first page of your packet is what is called your objectives calendar. Okay, now it's a little small there, but I know you have your paper copy as well. It lists a lot of information that's really important. Okay, so you have the essential questions. What questions are we answering during this short unit? This is primarily about the course and about the format of the Modern Classroom. You have your target deadlines on there, and you also see kind of the objective and then the link to the videos, which I will have posted in Schoology. And you can see kind of a color coding system on here of things that, and I will talk more about this, but are things that you must do, things that you should do are in purple on here, and things that you should aspire to do. So there's different levels of work, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. As far as grading, your mastery checks and summative assessments will be used with the IB MYP rubrics and criteria, so you will see that with different lessons. The criterion that we look at in Honors 10 is analyzing, organizing, producing text, and using language. The MYP scoring rubric is a 0 actually, 0 through 8. And we have aligned that with the letter grades with the descriptions as you can see here. Mastery check and unit packets contain what I've referred to before, the must do, the things you have to do to move on. Things I really think you should do that will help you understand a little bit more and go a little bit more in depth. There's my clock, sorry. And the aspire to do, things that should challenge you and push you a little bit more. The summative assessments, as was stated in the last video, are worth most of your grade, but a note here, you cannot achieve higher than a C if you just stop at the must-dos. So if you want an A in class, you want to try to get an A in Honors English 10, which I think you all should do and are all capable of, you would be completing the must-do tasks, the should-do tasks, and the aspire-to-do assignments. Once you see them, it makes sense. None of them are overwhelming, but they just kind of help demonstrate an understanding at higher levels, which then equals a higher grade in the class. You also would be looking at these instructional videos and having a demonstration of that by answering the questions about it. So that's you guys, the top students. That's what you're going to want to do to get the A in class. Here's a description kind of the mastery levels, as you see with the percents, which will be in Schoology for the secondary level grading, and what letter grade that equates to. Starting at the top with an A, showing mastery on all assignments for all units, all the way down to where I hope no one lands up, showing mastery on little must-dos, all the way down below that to insufficient amount. I don't even have enough to grade. I don't know what you are capable of because you haven't completed enough work. So that's all I'll say about that. I really hope there's no one there, and if someone is headed that way, hopefully together we can stop it before it gets there, so you get your credit. I referenced a do now form earlier that we will start with, and that's really when you need help. I'd give you that do now form, you'd fill it out, and that's kind of leveling your questions in terms of, I have a question, but it's not super burning. I need help, but you can wait and help other people who need more help, all the way down to, I can't move on further until this question's answered. Please come help me right now. So we'll start looking at that when we do those forms. So don't worry about that until you see the form. These are the expectations in my classroom. Number 1 talks about taking responsibility for what's happening. Number 2 talks about respect, yourself, the classmates, and your space, and me. Number 3, the distractions to learning, they're not negotiable. Okay, so when we are working, I need you to be off of other devices, off of videos, off of Snapchat, off of Instagram. off of FaceTime, all that. Those are all distractions and interruptions to class. Because I have learning videos, I'm not going to be repeating myself when you missed it because you were doing something and in a distracted mode when you shouldn't have been. Okay, so try to avoid that habit from starting. Just be a good person. That kind of stuff is really important to me. It's one of the letters in HAWK, right? K for kindness. That also refers to just being a person who uses the right materials and technology appropriately. And the last couple, be present and engaged in class so you know what is going on. Believe in yourself, because I do. And the last one, be open to others and willing to learn about people whose opinion differs from you. I think that's going to be really important as we move on and you move outside of Cooper especially. Cooper is a really unique and cool place because of this. I think most of you really believe and put yourselves out there that way already, that you are very accepting of others, which is amazing. And at the end here, English 10, that's kind of a quick and dirty plan on the idea of deadlines. We've talked about that in the first video. The grading system, the system we will put in place for you to get help, and your expectations so you can be successful in Honors English 10 this year.